Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel, and this is part 3 of the clipped wing cub slow flyer build. We left it at the last part, the 2 fuselage sides needed joining, and that's where I'm going to start today. I'm just looking at this thinking, I wonder where I'm going to put the servos. They could go up here, but then I'm thinking, if it turns out that it's nose heavy and the nose is going to be quite long, the battery's going to be quite a long way in front of the CG, there's a possibility I might fit the servos, because they're only those little really small ones, at the tail end again, like the Ajax. But until the gear comes and I'm a bit further advanced, I won't really know, so I'll balance that all out when the time comes. So I'll just angle you down and we'll glue these parts together. I've sanded the 2 halves, the joints really, and so that's all nice and flat. So all I've got to do is to run some white glue around where it's going to touch on the keel and peg it all together really. I don't want to flood on too much, but by the same token I want to have enough on there to actually do the job. This glue sets pretty quickly, so there's no time to hang about really. Let's place that on and find some pegs. Okay, I'll put all the rest of the pegs on, and then we can set that aside for an hour or 2. Okay, that looks pretty good to me. I'll let that set, guys, and then we'll come back and take it all off and get on with the next part. Oh dear, oh dear. Ah! Okay, let's have a look at the damage. That was too much weight. Oh, that is quite heavy actually. Didn't survive that. Let's pop the pegs off, and all I'm going to do is to just glue in the bits of the formers that are broken. And it will be as good as new. It was quite a crunch though, wasn't it? Right, there's a bit, there's a bit. Yeah, the reason it broke is because the formers are, the grain's running that way, so they're not very strong that way. What you can do is to get a piece of wood like that and glue it sideways, and that gives it enormous sideways strength, which I had planned to do, but just didn't do it. I paid the price. This lovely sounding crunch. Yeah, that was definitely a mistake, because that's where the fuselage curves in. So that was under a lot of tension already, and the weight just broke it exactly as it broke it. What I'm going to do, I'm going to glue these pieces back in and then glue cross braces on, and it'll be as good as new, no, better than new. Okay, that's that former repaired, but I need to, it's a little bit rough and ready, to be honest. I'm not sure this will lie in there quite nicely. I mean, I had planned to put these on anyway, didn't I? So it's a shame I didn't put them on first. These things happen. You live and learn. You never stop learning. Okay, that's one former repaired. Right, next former. And F1 as well, actually, by the look at it. Well, it's no disaster when something like this happens. It's just how you react to it, isn't it? I might have to redesign this fuselage to a slightly easier to build slab-sided thing. I did like the idea of open stringers, but I think it might be a little bit too old school for a lot of people. Okay, getting there. So it's F2 and F3 beefed up either side with strengthening crossbars, and it just leaves F1. F1 is going to have a plate on the front anyway, but there's definitely something missing from in there. Could be that piece there, yeah, I think it is. I think what I'll do, I'll just put some CA either side of that, because it's going to have a piece of something on the front, not sure what yet. So that's the fuselage glued together and repaired. It looks quite nice. I need to put a curved piece in here as well, so I can do that now, I suppose. Go down to that former there, because this is about the right size. It seems fortuitous, doesn't it? Let's do it that way around. It's a very light piece of balsa this. We'll go from there into there. Okay, that's going to go in there. So this brings that up nicely to there. These wings aren't going to be covered underneath, just the top. All right, let's carry on. I'm just going to glue in some little bits of 1/8 here just to finish this off. All right, so I'll see you back very soon. I was just looking at this before I cover it. I needed to fit up a undercarriage plywood for the undercarriage to bolt to, or sew to. So on the strength of that, I've cut out a couple of bits of light ply here and cut out 2 of these. I'll put some little holes in to run some stitches through to the wire undercarriage, and I just thought, well, they weigh precious little. They fit just inside here. I've had to fettle them slightly, of course, like that. Get it vertical, get it square, right on the join of the keel down below, which is useful because it's going to impart a little bit of strength. That looks all right. So I'm just going to run a bit of CA in really, just to hold them in place. I'll have to think about making up an undercarriage before I cover it, because I won't be able to sew it afterwards. I have been out in the shed and sanded, or used a Dremel actually, just to take out some of that heavy wood. I do like the look of the scalloped balsa like that. It looks quite sweet. Didn't take any out of the fin. I think it looks okay. Not much to come out, to be honest. So next bit then is to get an undercarriage in there. So I'm going to get some wire out and bend it up and stitch it on in my little holes. Tail's not glued on, by the way. I'm trying a slightly different approach to what I normally do. I've actually CA'd the undercarriage to the frame, bent up the main wheel. Now I've bent up a lighter wire for the back of it as support, because I'm going to bind and solder where the pegs are. I've shined all the metal up before I bent it, and then shined it again, and I'll just clean the area with IPA to get it really clean. But before I do that, I'm going to bind the undercarriage to the plywood with cotton, and then bind the 2 pieces of undercarriage leg together with a little bit of copper wire shined up, a bit of flux, bit of heat, and it should be done. Okay guys, let me explain what I've done. I've stitched the undercarriage, CA'd that. I've just got some copper wire from a bit of wire. There you go, just a bit of motor wire. Cleaned the piano wire up, wound on the copper wire, so that should be nice and clean now. So what I'm going to do now is to add a little bit of flux. Flux is your friend. Now the only problem with this, I've just thought any solder or flux is going to run straight down onto that. So I'm going to really want to add the tissue around there, I think. Like that. The other thing I'm going to make sure is nice and clean is the solder itself, because even that can pick up dirt. Just wire wool. Okay, let's see what happens. I've got my hottest iron here, so hopefully it's going to go on there, melt it and come straight off again. So let's see, get it nice and hot, and it looks like it's accepting solder. I'll stop there. It's very silver, which is good. When it's that dull colour, it's not so good. I know it's not everybody's favourite thing to do this. It's not mine, but having watched a couple of videos on soldering, the trick is to make sure everything's scrupulously clean and shiny and bright, and use an iron that's hot enough to do the job, and use flux, and then sort of practice. Okay, I think that actually looks quite good. Thought for a minute it wasn't going to take in the solder, but give it a quick wipe while it's really hot. It's not the best job I've ever done. Ouch, it's hot. So what I'll do now, I'll fill this in with either balsa wood, probably will be balsa actually, more than covering fabric, and then I'll make some wheels up. Should take it up to about there. So that's a major step, guys. Undercarriage done. So it's going to be 2S, so it's going to have plenty of power. Won't be lacking power at all. So, but the lighter it is, the slower it will fly, which is the name of the game. Don't want to see it tearing about, do I? Tearing about the sky? No, sir. No, Cliff. Absolutely not. It's not an EDF, is it? Let's face it. I'll worry about the wheels later. I won't worry about them. I'll think about them. Think about the wheels later. I just eyeballed it, roughly looking at what a cub undercarriage looks like. Haven't got the bit that goes up to the middle and down. It's really not worth doing that. Good. Thank you, guys.